Chosen one. Heaven itself has pressed pause on everything around you right now. You are not reading this by coincidence. You have been divinely stopped because God has a message that cannot wait another moment. The chaos, the confusion, the disappointment that's been circling your heart. Heaven has silenced it just long enough for you to hear these words. You were never rejected. You were redirected. Listen carefully. Every door that shut, every person who walked away, every opportunity that collapsed, it all felt like rejection. It cut deep. You questioned your worth. You wondered why everyone else seemed to move forward while you were left behind. But heaven whispers today, I was never punishing you. I was protecting you. What you thought was loss was actually a rescue. God saw roads that would have destroyed you, relationships that would have drained you, and positions that would have buried your calling. So he closed the doors not to hurt you, but to hide you. The rejection was not meant to break you, it was meant to build you. Chosen one. Can you feel it? The same God who shut those doors is now turning your direction toward destiny. Every pause, every delay, every detour was written into your story by divine design. This is not failure, it's redirection. You see, heaven doesn't measure progress the way the world does. The world looks at open doors as success, but heaven sometimes calls a closed door a victory. You have been walking through a holy interruption, a divine detour that has prepared you for what comes next. You cried over what you lost, but you're about to thank God for what He saved you from. Lift your head, chosen one. The weight you feel is not rejection, it's transformation. The reason you don't fit where you used to belong is because you've outgrown it. You can't stay where you've been because your destiny demands movement. Heaven has already shifted your path. What you called rejection was God saying, I have more for you. That every time someone said, you're not enough, heaven responded, you are mine. Every time a door slammed in your face, God whispered, I'm preparing one that no man can shut. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every unanswered prayer was heaven rearranging the pieces of your life so that everything would align with your divine assignment. Don't look back anymore. The people who left you were part of the old chapter. The silence was sacred. It was the sound of heaven rewriting your story. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand apart. You were never ordinary. And that's exactly why rejection found you. It couldn't stand your difference. God didn't allow the rejection to destroy you. He used it to reveal you. The world saw loss. Heaven saw preparation. The people who walked away thought they were walking out of your life. But in truth, they were making room for your elevation. Every tear watered the soil of your future victory. Beloved, your waiting was not wasted. God was refining your heart. He was teaching you how to stand alone, so that when He elevates you, you won't crumble under pressure. He was training your spirit to recognize His voice above all others. You were not being ignored. You were being instructed. Heaven wants you to know this is your moment to rise. Step out of the mindset of rejection and step into revelation. You have been chosen, marked, and redirected for glory. You are not forgotten. You are favored, and every delay is turning into divine acceleration. You might still feel the sting of rejection, but soon you'll see the beauty in it. Because rejection was never a verdict, it was an invitation to intimacy with God. He separated you from what was temporary to connect you to what is eternal. So breathe. Let peace enter your heart. Heaven is rebuilding you, piece by piece, purpose by purpose. You are stepping into alignment with destiny. The time for confusion is over. The time for clarity is now. Pause and hear heaven's heartbeat for you. I never rejected you. I redirected you to protect the call I placed upon your life. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. Beloved chosen one, if this message resonates deep in your spirit, if something inside you knows this was meant for you, then don't scroll away. Let heaven know you receive it. Like this message, share it with another chosen one who needs to be reminded that their rejection was really redirection. Leave a comment below. Write 777 as your prophetic declaration that you choose divine direction over human approval. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Stay connected to this flow of anointing. Heaven isn't finished speaking to you. You begin to see it now, the hidden hand that guided every closing door. At the time, it felt cruel. It felt like everything you built was slipping through your fingers. You prayed, and the door still shut. You pleaded, and the answer was still no. You thought God had forgotten you. But in truth, his hand was never removed from your life. The hidden hand was working behind the curtain. It was unseen, yet undeniable. Heaven was arranging things you couldn't see, positioning people you hadn't met, preparing opportunities that weren't yet visible. While you were crying over what didn't happen, heaven was busy protecting you from what could have destroyed you. Rejection is painful because it's personal, but divine redirection is powerful because it's purposeful. You weren't rejected because you weren't good enough. You were rejected because you were too anointed to stay in a place beneath your calling. Every closed door was a wall of divine protection. Think about it. If every door had opened the way you wanted, you would have settled in places that couldn't sustain your future. You would have surrounded yourself with people who loved your potential but weren't equipped to handle your purpose. God didn't just block access. He blocked destruction. And though it stung, He needed you to trust what you couldn't trace. There were moments when silence felt like abandonment, when distance felt like dismissal, but later, you'll look back and realize that His no was the kindest answer He could have given. You see, heaven doesn't close doors to punish, it closes them to preserve. You prayed for elevation, and God answered through separation. You asked for clarity, and God removed confusion disguised as comfort. The hidden hand was at work in the background, not because He didn't love you, but because He loved you too much to let you stay small. There were people who rejected you because they couldn't discern your value. They saw only the version of you that was still developing, not the anointed vessel God was shaping. They thought they were rejecting a person. Heaven knew they were releasing a prophet. Their absence is proof of your advancement. You didn't lose anything that was meant for your destiny. What walked away wasn't aligned with your future. When one hand releases, another from heaven replaces. That's how divine redirection operates. It removes the counterfeit to make room for the authentic. You must understand, chosen one, that divine strategy often disguises itself as loss. What looks like rejection to your eyes is redirection in heaven's design. The people who turned their backs became unknowing participants in your training. They taught you discernment, dependency, and divine focus. Their rejection taught you to hear God's yes in the silence of human no. The hidden hand never left you. It wrote every line of your story, even the chapters you tried to tear out. It saw the betrayal before it happened. It knew the heartbreak before you cried. And through it all, it never stopped guiding you toward the destiny written in the language of grace. You must release the bitterness of those moments, because the bitterness blinds you to the beauty of what God was building. The same God who allowed the rejection is the same God who will redeem it. You are being reintroduced to your purpose, not punished for your past. The next time you look back on what ended, remember, heaven ended it to protect the beginning of something greater. Every no had a name: protection, promotion, preparation. The door that closed on you was God's way of sealing you for the next season. Lift your eyes. Chosen one. The hidden hand is still moving, even when you cannot see it. Every disappointment is being rewritten into divine appointment. Every rejection is a redirection toward revelation. You may not understand it now, but soon you will say, God, thank you for closing that door. Oh, according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 6, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. When rejection comes again, and it will remember this, the same hand that closed one door will open another, at the perfect time, in the perfect way, for the perfect purpose. You were never left out. You were led forward. What feels like delay is divine choreography, God positioning you where favor can find you, where your gifts are needed, and where destiny finally unfolds without resistance. When the world turned its back on you, it wasn't the end, it was the unveiling of who truly stood with you. You remember those moments, don't you? The late nights when messages stopped coming, the sudden silence from people who once called you friend, the looks that made you feel invisible. It hurt. Rejection always does. But heaven saw every tear, and while the world walked away, God was walking you into revelation. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were set apart, not set aside. Sometimes God will allow isolation because he's preparing elevation. He will strip away counterfeit connections so that when he blesses you, no one else can claim the glory. You thought you were being abandoned, but in truth, you were being chosen. When the world turned away, God turned toward you. He used loneliness to draw you into intimacy. He allowed misunderstanding to mature your discernment. The rejection wasn't random, it was sacred separation. Because if everyone had celebrated you, you would have never learned how to find peace in his presence alone. Chosen one. Your rejection revealed your roots. When people left, you discovered who you really are. Someone who doesn't crumble when applauses stop. Someone whose worth isn't determined by who stays or who leaves. You found that your strength comes not from the approval of others, but from the assurance of heaven. You learned that silence doesn't mean absence. When people withdrew, God whispered louder. When doors closed, his word became your anchor. And through every lonely night, he proved that your story was never in human hands, it was in his. Do you realize how powerful that makes you? The very pain that tried to destroy you became the birthplace of your purpose. The rejection that once made you question your identity is now the reason you walk in authority. You stopped chasing validation and started carrying revelation. Rejection is a divine classroom. It teaches you who you are when everything else is stripped away. It exposes false foundations and forces your faith to grow roots deeper than emotion. When the world turned its back, you were given a front row seat to God's rebuilding process. Remember, even Jesus was rejected. He was despised by the very ones he came to save. Yet his rejection became humanity's redemption. If the Son of God faced rejection, why do you think you're excluded from it? The mark of being chosen often comes wrapped in misunderstanding. People can't see your calling because they weren't meant to carry it. Every painful moment was a piece of your preparation. You were never disqualified. You were being refined. Those who left didn't break you. They revealed how strong your spirit really is. You walked through rejection and came out radiant. Heaven says to you now, stop mourning the ones who couldn't recognize your worth. Their rejection didn't decrease your value, it exposed their blindness. You were a treasure they couldn't handle, a light too bright for their comfort. The same rejection that made you cry will one day make you testify. You are not behind. You are being rebuilt. The world may not understand your silence, but heaven applauds your obedience. The same God who watched them walk away is preparing to bring people who will honor what you carry. Do not chase what left. What is coming will carry the fragrance of divine alignment. The Spirit reminds us through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 27, verse 10, "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." Can you feel the truth of that? Chosen one. Even when the most trusted turned away, the Lord received you. You were not rejected. You were redirected into His arms. You didn't lose people. You gained presence. You didn't lose stability. You found strength. And now, what was once pain has become prophecy. So right now, take a deep breath and declare your agreement with heaven. Type, "I rise again," in the comments, 3 simple words that break the curse of rejection and announce your resurrection season. When you do, you're not just typing, you're testifying. You're telling the darkness, you didn't win. You're declaring that every rejection only resurrected your purpose. Stand tall. Chosen one. The world's rejection could never cancel heaven's election. You are still chosen, still seen, still destined for glory. What others walked away from, God is walking toward, and He's bringing restoration with Him. There comes a time in every chosen one's journey when heaven goes silent. You pray, but the answers don't come. You worship, yet the heavens feel like brass. The same God who once spoke clearly now seems distant, quiet, unreachable. And in that stillness, you start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Did I miss my moment? Did He forget me? No. Beloved, the silence of God is not the absence of God. It is the sacred space where He molds your spirit to recognize His whisper beyond emotion. The greatest tests come not when He speaks, but when He doesn't. When heaven seems silent, faith is no longer a feeling. It becomes your foundation. God's silence has purpose. It's never punishment. It's preparation. When you can no longer hear His voice, He's often teaching you to trust His hand. Just because you can't trace Him doesn't mean He's not working. The silence is the soil where spiritual roots grow deep. There were seasons when you could feel His presence instantly, and now you must seek Him with intention. That is not rejection, it's promotion. Heaven is teaching you to walk, not crawl to lead. Not just follow, You are being trained to move by revelation, not reaction. The silence tests your trust. It asks, will you still believe when you can't hear me? Will you still worship when you can't feel me? Will you still obey when I don't explain why? Because faith that depends on feelings isn't faith, it's comfort. And comfort never births calling. In those quiet seasons, you may feel like heaven forgot your name. But what's really happening is that God is shifting you from being comforted to being commissioned. He's preparing you for greater responsibility, greater revelation, greater authority. The silence is your sanctuary, not your sentence. You have to understand, He hides Himself not to confuse you, but to cultivate you. When a teacher gives a test, they stop talking, not because they've left, but because they want to see what you've learned. That's how divine silence works. God's quietness is proof that you're in transition from student to steward. So do not mistake His silence for disapproval. He hasn't withdrawn His love. He's drawing out your faith. He is watching how you respond in stillness. Do you panic? Do you retreat? Or do you remain anchored in the truth that even when you can't hear Him, He is still God, still present, still faithful? You see, if He always answered instantly, you would depend on His response more than His presence. Silence strips away dependency on emotion so that you learn to rely solely on His word. It's in those moments that you discover what faith truly means: to walk without sight, to trust without proof, to believe without applause. Chosen one, you've been asking, why can't I hear you, Lord? And heaven replies, because I'm speaking in a new frequency. You've outgrown the old ways of hearing. He's pulling you closer, training your spirit to discern His movement, even when His voice seems quiet. You're not being ignored, you're being invited to a deeper level of intimacy. Do you know what happens after divine silence? Revelation. Every silence precedes a sudden word. Every pause precedes a prophetic breakthrough. The quiet you endure now will soon echo with clarity. Heaven never wastes silence. It uses it as a canvas to paint your next chapter. The silence is also protection. When God hides His next step from you, it's because the enemy can't attack what he can't see. What feels like delay is divine defense. God covers you in Kiat, so your enemies won't anticipate your elevation. He hides your next move until the appointed time, and when the time comes, the silence will break. The same voice that once seemed distant will speak again, not in whispers, but in declarations. You'll realize He was never gone. He was working, weaving, watching, and waiting for your faith to mature enough to hold what He's about to release. So don't curse the silence. Chosen one, bless it. Thank God that He trusts you enough to be quiet, because in the silence, you grow. In the silence, you learn to see with your spirit, not your senses. In the silence, you discover that the absence of sound is often the presence of strength, as the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay. Wait through the silence, for heaven's timing never fails. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. The voice that seems distant now will soon thunder with direction, and when it does, you'll understand that the silence was never empty. It was sacred. There are moments when the fire feels too hot to bear. The rejection, the silence, the heartbreak, It all seems to melt together into a single furnace of pain. But, chosen one, this is not the fire that destroys you. It is the fire that defines you. Heaven never wastes the flames. When God allows you to walk through rejection, He is not trying to burn you. He is refining you like gold. You've been asking, why does it hurt this much? The truth is, fire reveals what's real. It consumes the false layers, the pride, the people-pleasing, the need for approval, and leaves only what cannot be shaken, what you call rejection. Heaven calls purification. You were never meant to carry everything that burned away. Imagine the blacksmith shaping a sword. The metal is placed into the fire, pounded again and again, then cooled in water before being returned to the flames. It's a brutal process, but each cycle makes the blade stronger, sharper, more precise. That's you, chosen one. God is forging you in the furnace of rejection so that when He wields you, you will not bend under pressure. It hurts because you're transforming. You're no longer who you used to be. The old you would have begged for validation. But this new you knows your value comes from heaven alone. The old you chased doors. The new you waits for divine openings. The old you feared rejection. The new you understands it as redirection. You're evolving in fire. Sometimes, the flames come in the form of betrayal. People you trusted suddenly vanish or speak against you. Other times, it's the disappointment of lost opportunities or dreams that never came to pass. But here's the mystery God uses: rejection as the furnace to refine your heart, so your purpose can emerge without impurity. You cannot carry bitterness into your blessing. The fire burns it out before you reach your next level. Do you know why gold shines? Because it's been through fire. And that's exactly what's happening to you. The furnace is not a sign of abandonment. It's the signature of heaven's craftsmanship. You are being shaped into someone unshakable, someone who will carry light into the darkest places. Even the prophets faced the furnace. David was rejected by his own brothers before being crowned. Joseph was thrown into a pit before sitting on a throne. Jesus was despised and crucified before resurrection power was revealed. Every chosen one walks through the fire before the crown rests on their head. So, if you feel like you're burning, you know that it's not the end, it's the beginning of brilliance. The flames that surround you now will soon become the light that guides others. What you survive will become your ministry. Your scars will speak louder than your pain. Heaven whispers, "Do not run from the furnace. Stay. Let me finish what I started." You are almost ready. You are almost radiant. The world will see the glow that only comes from those who've endured the heat and refused to quit. And when you finally emerge, you'll realize that rejection didn't scar you, it sealed you. It marked you as someone who cannot be bought by applause or broken by abandonment. You'll carry a peace that confusion cannot steal and a strength that storms cannot shake. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, the Word of God declares in the first letter of Peter, chapter 1, verse 7, "These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, though your faith is far more precious than mere gold." Now listen, beloved chosen one, if this message touches your spirit, if the fire you've walked through suddenly makes sense, take a moment to respond with gratitude. Like this message as a sign that you're not ashamed of the furnace that shaped you. Share it with someone who's standing in the flames right now. Someone who needs to hear that their fire is not failure, It's formation. And if this voice of heaven continues to pour strength into your soul, consider staying connected. Subscribe, so the next word of encouragement finds you right when you need it most. Each message is a spark from the same fire that's refining you. For those who feel led, your support, whether through prayer, sharing, or even giving, helps keep the flame burning. When you give, you are not just donating, you are helping light another soul's path through their own furnace of rejection. You become a torchbearer of hope, chosen one. Remember, the fire is never final. It's the passageway to purity, the preparation for promotion. Every spark of pain has purpose. Every ember of disappointment has destiny. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. You will be beautified. There comes a shift, a holy, unseen movement. When heaven begins to redirect your steps, it doesn't announce itself with noise or thunder. It moves quietly, like the turning of the tide. You begin to notice small things, old desires fading, new visions stirring. Paths you once wanted no longer feel right. That's not confusion, it's divine redirection beginning to unfold. When God redirects, He rarely explains. Instead, He rearranges. People leave, doors close, opportunities dissolve, and your spirit, still aching from rejection, starts to sense something deeper at work. What felt like a detour becomes a divine map. What seemed like loss turns into leading. You realize that the same God who allowed things to end is also the one preparing the new beginning. Heaven never wastes movement. Every redirection has a reason. Sometimes, God changes your direction not because you were wrong, but because your mission has evolved. You've completed one assignment, and now He's shifting you to another. The same wind that once seemed to scatter you is now guiding you toward destiny. Maybe you've noticed it. Your heart no longer fits in certain places. Conversations that once excited you now feel empty. You're outgrowing environments that once defined you. That's how heaven signals transition. It's not rejection, it's graduation. You've mastered one level of faith, and God is preparing you for the next. Redirection is often disguised as interruption. Think of Jonah, whose plans sent him one way while God's purpose called him another. Or Ruth, whose loss led her straight into the lineage of kings. Divine redirection doesn't look logical, but it's always strategic. Heaven doesn't make mistakes, it makes moves. Sometimes, God redirects by slowing you down. You might feel like nothing is happening, like your progress has paused. But that pause is sacred. Heaven often slows your pace to keep your heart from outrunning your purpose. You're not being delayed, you're being synchronized. God is aligning your timing with His divine schedule. Chosen one. Don't resist the redirection. The path you're walking now may not look familiar, but it's leading you somewhere holy. Trust the shifts. Trust the silence. Trust the strange promptings in your spirit that say, "Turn here," or "Wait now." Every move is calculated by a God who knows what's waiting ahead. Redirection also refines relationships. Some people cannot travel where you are going. Not because they're bad, but because their assignment in your life has ended. You don't need to chase them. Release them with love. You're walking a narrow road that only those aligned with heaven can follow. It may feel lonely for a while, but soon you'll see God isn't subtracting to punish you, He's pruning to prepare you. When the new season arrives, it will carry peace, purpose, and divine partnerships that mirror heaven's design. What's coming will make sense of what you lost. Do not rush it. Divine redirection unfolds in perfect rhythm. Sometimes, God hides the full picture, because if you saw it all at once, you would run ahead of His timing. Instead, He shows you the next step, just enough light for your feet. That's how trust grows in mystery. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they might travel by day and by night. Can you feel it? Chosen one, that same presence still leads you now. The pillar may not be visible, but the guidance is real. His Spirit is your compass, His peace your confirmation. When doors close, don't fight them, follow the cloud. When new paths open, don't question, follow the fire. Heaven is leading you through what seems uncertain to bring you into what's eternal. And in this moment, if something inside you whispers, "That's me," then this word is for you. You're standing at the edge of redirection. Don't be afraid to move forward. Leave behind what no longer carries grace. Step into the new flow of God's will. If this message resonates in your spirit, let heaven know your heart agrees. Type 444 in the comments. It's a prophetic act, a declaration that you're aligned with divine direction. When you write it, you're saying, "God, I trust your path more than my plans." It's more than a number. It's a sign that you're ready for the next chapter of obedience. Beloved, redirection is not a detour. It's destiny unfolding. You are not lost. You're being led. Keep walking. The same God who guided Israel through the wilderness is guiding you through uncertainty. And soon, the place that once felt strange will feel like home, because it was crafted for you before time began. You were never ordinary. Chosen one. From the beginning, heaven placed something in you that made you stand out. You might have tried to hide it, to blend in, to move unnoticed through a world that rewards sameness, but it never worked. The world sensed there was something different about you, and so did the darkness. That difference is why rejection came so fiercely. The enemy recognized your potential long before you did. You were marked for purpose, for promise, for power. You carry within you a light that doesn't ask permission to shine. It's not arrogance, it's assignment. Every chosen one carries a divine DNA, something coded into their spirit that resonates with eternity itself. When you walk into a room, atmospheres shift. When you speak, truth ripples through the air. You don't even have to try, it's who you are. And yet, that uniqueness has cost you. It's hard to carry something holy in a world that worships the temporary. You've been misunderstood, labeled, even mocked for seeing what others can't. But the truth is, your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's a prophetic gift. The same empathy that once made you feel too much is what makes you heaven's voice of compassion. There were seasons when you wished to be normal. You envied those who seemed carefree, who didn't feel everything so deeply, who weren't called to fight invisible battles. But God never designed you for comfort. He designed you for impact. You were never supposed to blend in. You were meant to disrupt darkness. Look at your life. Notice the patterns, the times you almost gave up. Yet something unexplainable kept you standing. The moments you were surrounded by chaos but carried peace that made no sense. The insights you received in prayer. The dreams that came with clarity too sharp to dismiss all of it, was heaven's reminder that you are chosen, not common. You carry a frequency that heaven recognizes and hell fears. That's why spiritual warfare often finds you. That's why people sometimes misinterpret your silence or strength. You're not just different, you're divinely designed. You were created to walk roads few dare to tread, to see what others overlook, to hear what others ignore. Your difference is not a defect, it's direction. God made you this way because your calling requires it. If you felt ordinary, you would settle. If you fit in, you'd lose your edge. It's the friction of rejection that sharpened your discernment. It's the isolation that tuned your ear to heaven's frequency. There's something sacred about those who stand apart. They carry a glow that can't be taught, only imparted through pain and process. You've walked through both, and because of that, your light burns steady, not as a flicker, but as a flame that refuses to die. Remember this: diamonds form under pressure. Stars are seen only in darkness, and prophets are born in silence. Your journey is the same. The pain you've endured wasn't proof of failure, it was evidence of formation. You've been shaped by divine hands to reflect something heaven-sized in a human world. When you were young, maybe you felt unseen. Maybe you wondered why you never quite fit in, why every attempt to belong felt forced. It's because your spirit recognized you were not meant for imitation, you were meant for influence. The world doesn't need another copy, it needs your authenticity. That's the light you carry. The same light that draws others also repels those not ready to see. Don't take their distance personally. It's spiritual. Some people leave because they cannot handle the reflection of their own shadows in your glow. But the ones who stay, the ones who honor your difference, are part of the destiny God is aligning. As the ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 12, verse 2 remind us, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God." So, stop apologizing for your difference. Stop dimming your light because others are uncomfortable with its brightness. The ones meant for you will never ask you to shrink. They will fan your flame. The purpose in you demands space to breathe. You were never ordinary. That's why your battles are extraordinary. That's why your victories will be. 2. Heaven trusts you with more because you carry more. You don't need to fit in when you were designed to stand out. The same God who set you apart will sustain you apart. Let the world misunderstand you. Let them question. Let them watch. Because soon, the same uniqueness they dismissed will become the very reason they recognize the hand of God on your life. You were never rejected, you were revealed. There is a sacred mystery that follows every chosen one. What is lost is never truly gone. When God allows something to leave your hands, He always replaces it with something greater, but not before He transforms you to handle it. This is the divine exchange, the holy trade between what you thought you needed and what heaven knows you're ready for. When rejection stripped away what you loved, you grieved because you saw only the subtraction. But in heaven's economy, loss is never reduction, it is redirection. God does not take without purpose. When He removes something, it's because He intends to give back what aligns what endures, what multiplies. Beloved, everything you thought you lost has already been repurposed in heaven's ledger. The friendships that ended, the opportunities that collapsed, the dreams that died, they are being rewritten into new assignments. You thought you were losing ground, but you were actually gaining clarity. You thought you were being emptied, but heaven was making room for more. In the divine exchange, God replaces pain with power, fear with faith, shame with strength. What once wounded you now becomes your weapon. The very rejection that tried to silence you becomes the reason your voice carries authority. Every disappointment becomes an investment in your destiny. Look closely at your scars. They are not marks of defeat, but signatures of transformation. Every healed wound carries a story, and every story carries a message of redemption. That's how heaven works. It turns what was meant for evil into the very thing that equips you for good. You once prayed for blessings. Now you've learned to ask for alignment. You once sought validation. Now you seek revelation. That shift is the divine exchange in action, the transformation of desire from temporary to eternal. You no longer crave the world's approval because you've tasted the stability of God's peace. The beauty of divine exchange is that it happens quietly. There's no fanfare, no announcement. One morning you wake up and realize you no longer ache for what you lost. You're lighter, freer, wiser. The emptiness that once terrified you has become sacred space for something new. Heaven never leaves a void unfilled. It fills it with purpose. This is why rejection had to happen. If God had given you what you wanted, it would have kept you bound to a smaller vision. The heartbreak pushed you out of comfort and into calling. The disappointment cleared the clutter around your destiny. You could not step into divine fullness until your hands were emptied of lesser things. Do you remember Job? He lost everything: his wealth, his health, his family. Yet, in the end, God restored double. That's the pattern of divine exchange. It might look like devastation, but beneath the ashes, heaven is planting the seeds of multiplication. The breaking is never the end. It's the beginning of rebuilding. And consider Joseph, sold by his brothers, imprisoned by false accusation, forgotten by those he helped. Every layer of rejection was a layer of redirection. What began as betrayal ended in elevation. The pit became a pathway to the palace. The prison became preparation for promotion. That's how divine exchange works. It turns wounds into wisdom and sorrow into strategy. You may not see it yet, but heaven has been trading your pain for power. Every no you endured was a yes to something higher. The things that left your life weren't stolen, they were sent ahead of you, transformed into blessings, waiting in your future. You are walking toward restoration that carries double for your trouble. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 3, verse 8, "Indeed, I count everything as loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord. For his sake, I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish, in order that I may gain Christ." That is the essence of divine exchange. To the world, it looks like loss. To heaven, it's gain. You cannot grasp both the temporal and the eternal. One must be released so the other can be received. And though your hands once trembled in letting go, they are now strong enough to carry what's next. Chosen one, you are stepping into a new kind of wealth, not of money, but of meaning. You are richer in discernment, stronger in faith, steadier in spirit. The trade is complete. Heaven has taken your ashes and returned beauty. It has taken your mourning and exchanged it for dancing. You are no longer defined by what left, but by what remains. Every sacrifice you made has been seen. Every tear has been tallied. And now, divine exchange is your inheritance. Stand tall, not as one who lost, but as one who gained everything that truly matters. You stand now at a crossroads, the kind where everything inside you knows that going backward is no longer an option. The past has closed its door, and the future stands veiled in mist. This is the sacred tension between what was and what will be. The air feels heavier here. Heaven is watching, waiting to see what you'll choose: comfort or calling, fear or faith, hesitation or obedience. Chosen one, this is not just another decision. This is the moment that separates those who are chosen from those who are comfortable. The path before you is narrow, but it leads to glory. You can feel it in your spirit, that gentle stirring, that holy unease that won't let you stay where you are. It's God saying, move. Oh, every chosen one reaches this threshold. You've come too far to return. Yet the next step feels terrifying. Your heart races. Your thoughts war. And still, the Spirit whispers, trust me, it's here, in this in-between, that your faith either becomes theory or testimony. You can't stay in safety and expect to see destiny. This is your testing ground. Every delay you've endured, every rejection you've survived, it all led you here. God didn't allow those seasons to end you. He used them to prepare your obedience. You were trained in the shadows, so you could now move in light. At the crossroads, the enemy often whispers, what if you fail? But heaven counters, what if you soar? You're not the same person you were when the last door closed. You've been refined, realigned, and redefined. You now carry authority born from endurance. The next step may look small, but it will unlock something eternal. You must remember, obedience always opens what fear keeps closed. The moment you act in faith, heaven responds. Every chosen one must learn that God's redirection is not complete until obedience is chosen. The path has been prepared, but heaven won't force your feet forward. You must move. Do not wait for perfect clarity. Move with perfect trust. Faith is not seeing the entire staircase. It's stepping on the first step, knowing God built it. You've prayed for confirmation. But heaven says, the peace you feel is your confirmation. The stillness you sense when you surrender, that's the sound of alignment. You are not standing at a dead end. You're standing at destiny's beginning. The uncertainty before you is not chaos. It's the blank page where heaven is about to write your next chapter. The road may not look easy, but it will be worth every tear, every test, every trial. Sometimes, the first step forward is the loudest declaration of faith you'll ever make. It tells heaven, I trust you, and tells darkness, you no longer control me. This crossroads is not a punishment, it's a promotion disguised as a decision. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7, for we walk by faith, not by sight. These words were never meant to stay on parchment. They were meant to come alive in people like you. When you take that step, you're not just walking, you're worshipping. Every move forward is a song of trust. Every act of faith is a declaration that heaven's will outweighs human fear. So now, chosen one, the time has come. Look ahead. The fog will not lift until you move. The doors will not open until you reach for the handle. The miracle will not manifest until you take the first step. This is your moment of obedience. Right here. In this divine pause, make a choice. Do not look back at what left you. It served its purpose. Fix your eyes on what's before you, the promise, the plan, the path paved with grace. Heaven's spotlight is on your next step. If your heart burns as you read this, it's because heaven is confirming it's your time. Don't hesitate. Move now. Say yes. Take the step of faith that aligns your story with His purpose. Type "I move now" in the comments, 3 words that signify surrender and courage. When you write them, you are not typing to be seen. You're declaring to the unseen realm that you choose obedience over delay. Heaven listens when faith speaks. Your declaration is the sound that unlocks the next door. The crossroads is not a place to fear, it's where destiny and obedience meet. The step you take today will echo in eternity. Heaven has already prepared the ground beneath your feet. You were never meant to stay wondering which way to go. You were meant to walk, to trust, to move. And as you do, every step forward will become a testimony that obedience was always worth it. The doors of heaven are opening before you. Chosen one. Quietly, steadily, almost imperceptibly, the air around your life is shifting. What once resisted you is beginning to yield. What once mocked your faith will soon marvel at your favor. The same doors that remained locked through seasons of weeping are now moving on unseen hinges of grace. Heaven's timing has arrived. You've endured the furnace, passed through the silence, walked through rejection and redirection, and now you stand before divine access. It's as if the corridor of your destiny stretches out in front of you, each door glowing faintly with promise, waiting for your obedience to turn the handle. But don't imagine these as ordinary doors of wood or glass. These are living thresholds, spiritual gateways that open to new dimensions of purpose. Some lead to restored relationships, others to platforms of influence, and still others to deep, quiet peace you've never known before. Heaven designs each one uniquely for the hand that has learned patience, and yours, beloved, is finally ready to touch the handle. This is not a random opportunity. This is a divine appointment. Heaven has been preparing both sides of the door, the moment and the person. You are stepping into an atmosphere where your preparation meets God's orchestration. The waiting wasn't a punishment, it was alignment. God has been setting the stage like a master conductor, waiting for the perfect note, the perfect rhythm, the perfect timing for your entrance. And when the music rises, you will walk through not with striving, but with grace, as was spoken in the sacred text of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know you have little strength, yet kept my word. That is your declaration, your divine announcement. The open door is not a result of your perfection, but of your persistence. Heaven rewards those who remain faithful when everything else fades. You didn't give up when it would have been easier to quit. You didn't curse the waiting, you worshipped through it. And now, the door opens, not as a reward for effort, but as evidence of endurance. Imagine it this way: a seed must press through layers of soil before sunlight greets it. The darkness was never a grave, it was a womb. The soil that seemed to bury you was actually nourishing you. And now, at last, you're breaking through the surface. That first stretch toward the light is your open door. When you step through, walk gently but confidently. Don't rush. Don't fear. The same God who opened the door will sustain you inside it. Remember, the open door is not the finish line, it's the next classroom. Heaven doesn't elevate for ego, it promotes for purpose. And if this message resonates with you, if you feel that divine stirring that says, "This is my word," pause for a moment. Take a breath. Feel heaven's presence in this stillness. What you're sensing is the weight of transition, the hush before revelation unfolds. Now, chosen one, here's what I ask, not out of demand, but out of devotion. If these words have spoken life into your spirit, if they've reminded you that God still opens doors when man closes them, then help keep the flame of this message alive. When you like this message, you lift its light higher for someone still standing in their night. When you share, you become heaven's messenger, sending hope into another heart that feels locked out. When you subscribe, you don't just follow, you align yourself with a continual flow of anointed words meant to strengthen your walk. And if you feel led, your donation, your seed, your act of faith becomes more than currency. It becomes kindling. It fuels the fire that keeps this voice reaching across nations, finding souls in silence, guiding them to the open door you've just found. Think of it as oil poured on the flame, not for one light, but for a multitude of others waiting to see through the dark. You are part of something bigger now, a movement of light bearers, each holding their torch, each walking through doors, not just for themselves, but for others yet to come. What you do today echoes far beyond screens and words. It ripples through eternity. So, chosen one, as this door opens, walk through it with peace in your heart and generosity in your spirit. Let every step you take remind you, rejection was redirection, silence was instruction, waiting was preparation, and this, right here, is revelation. Your season of closed doors has ended. A new rhythm of grace begins now. Step through, shine brighter, and let others see through your light that God still opens what man cannot. The table is set. Chosen one, the very table that once seemed so far from your reach. The one you thought you'd never sit at, it's ready. And not only is your seat waiting, but heaven has arranged the entire setting in your honor. You've wept, you've walked, you've waited, and now the time of hiddenness gives way to the time of honor. God never forgets a faithful heart. Every unseen act of obedience, every kiet surrender, every tear that fell into the soil of trust has grown into a harvest of vindication. This table is not just a symbol of blessing, it's the visible evidence of what heaven saw in secret. There will come a moment when those who misunderstood you will watch in silence as God elevates you. The ones who doubted your worth will witness His favor unfolding before their eyes. But this is not about revenge, it's about revelation. When God sets a table before your enemies, it isn't to humiliate them, it's to display His faithfulness through you. You are not being blessed to prove them wrong, you are being blessed to prove that God was right. You remained steadfast when others strayed. You chose faith when fear was easier. And heaven rewards those who endure with grace. The table of divine vindication is different from worldly success. It doesn't glitter with gold or echo with applause. It glows with peace. It's the place where your heart finally rests, where you realize that all the rejection and redirection were never meant to destroy you, but to position you. Imagine this: a long table stretching out in a field at sunrise. The sky painted with colors of mercy and light. On it, bread still warm from heaven's oven, cups filled with living water. Around it, angels standing in silent reverence. And there, at the head, sits your Father, smiling, not because you arrived perfect, but because you never stopped walking. This table is not earned by effort, it's inherited by endurance. It belongs to those who refused to bow to bitterness. You reached this moment not by strength alone, but by surrender. Every yes to God, every no to compromise. Every time you chose forgiveness over revenge, those were the invisible steps that brought you here. When you sit here, something inside you will shift. The need to explain yourself will vanish. The pain of rejection will dissolve, because the presence of vindication doesn't come with words, it comes with peace. You'll realize that you don't need validation when God Himself affirms you. The same people who said you wouldn't make it will quietly see that grace carried you farther than talent ever could. This is the table of completion. It represents the moment when purpose overtakes pain, when glory swallows grief. You will eat the fruit of faithfulness and drink from the cup of restoration. Every dry season, every lonely night, every unanswered prayer becomes nourishment for your soul. As the writings of David in the Psalms remind us, chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." Those words were not poetic comfort, they were prophetic truth. The shepherd always leads his chosen through valleys before feasts. He allows opposition not to shame you, but to shape you, to prove that even when the world turned away, His goodness never did. This table also marks a turning point. You're not the same person who began this journey. You've learned to walk through fire without losing your light, to stand in silence without losing your song. You've discovered that even when the world rejects you, heaven still recognizes you. Here, in this new season, you'll notice something else. Those who truly love you will gather without envy. Those who doubted will come curious, and those who left will no longer matter. What once hurt you now humbles you. You'll see that your enemies were never people. They were instruments that pushed you toward purpose. At this table, the fragrance of forgiveness fills the air. You'll look around and realize that you no longer desire revenge or applause. You just desire peace. That's what true vindication looks like, not proving others wrong, but finally being right with God. Your portion here is abundance, not just of blessings, but of understanding. You now see clearly. Rejection was protection. Delay was preparation. And this moment is revelation. Everything you lost was part of what led you here. Sit down. Chosen one. Rest. You've been running for so long that you almost forgot what stillness feels like. But now, the one who called you has also crowned you. He has pulled out the chair, poured the oil, and said, "Welcome home, my faithful one. And eat freely. Drink deeply. You've survived the shadows, and now you feast in the light. This is not the end of your journey, It's the celebration between battles, a reminder that the shepherd always finishes what he starts. You thought being hidden meant being forgotten. You thought that the silence after rejection was heaven's way of turning away. But now, as you look back, you see the truth. It wasn't neglect, it was nurturing. You were not being left behind. Chosen one, you were being tucked away, hidden, not forsaken, concealed for protection, not overlooked in punishment. The hidden season is one of the strangest phases in the life of a chosen one. You can feel the greatness inside you, stirring, yet every door remains closed. You sense destiny pressing against your heart, yet no platform appears. It's as if God Himself has veiled you, allowing no spotlight, nor recognition, nor applause. It can be lonely. It can feel unjust. But heaven hides what it intends to reveal at the right time. Consider how seeds are hidden in the soil. For weeks, sometimes months, they are buried in darkness. No one sees their struggle beneath the surface. To the outside world, it looks like nothing is happening. But in the hidden places, roots are growing, foundations are forming. The seed is getting stronger so that when it finally breaks through, it can stand against the wind. You were hidden because you carry holy weight. Not everyone could handle your calling. Not every environment could nurture your growth. Heaven had to keep you out of reach of those who might mishandle your destiny. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection into divine safety. Remember, Moses hidden in the reeds, protected from Pharaoh's wrath. Remember, David anointed but still tending sheep, while Saul ruled a nation. Remember Jesus hidden in Egypt as a child until the time of manifestation came. Every chosen one carries a hidden chapter, a quiet wilderness, a sacred season of divine obscurity. It's where heaven shapes heroes. Hiddenness is not inactivity, it's preparation. It's the forge where your faith is refined, where your humility is tested, where your reliance on God becomes unshakable. In that silence, He teaches you how to listen. In that solitude, He teaches you how to lead. And when the time comes for your unveiling, you will not crumble under the weight of recognition because you learned how to stand in the weight of anonymity. You may not see it, but even in hiddenness, heaven moves. You are being talked about in rooms you've never entered. Your name is being carried in prayers you'll never hear. God is arranging divine connections, conversations, and callings that will unfold in perfect rhythm. The day will come when suddenly you're seen, but it will not be sudden to heaven. It will be the culmination of everything that has been quietly forming in you. As heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 13, "The Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only and not beneath." If you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, that promise has been echoing over your life even while you were hidden. The silence was not absence, it was strategy. You were not beneath, you were being built from the bottom up. Every unseen prayer, every unnoticed act of kindness, every quiet moment of surrender was heaven's way of laying bricks under your foundation. Now, the time of unveiling approaches. You will not have to announce yourself. Heaven will do it for you. When the light shines, it will not just reveal your gift, it will reflect His glory. You will emerge, not as someone desperate for validation, but as someone carrying peace that cannot be shaken. And when that moment comes, the world will marvel, saying, Where did this one come from? They won't understand that you came from the hidden place, from the soil of surrender, from the silence of obedience. They will see the fruit, but not the root, and that is how God planned it. So take heart. Beloved, the same God who hid you is the one who will reveal you. Do not rush what heaven is ripening. Hidden seasons end at the appointed time, not a moment sooner. And when you read these words, if something inside you stirs with recognition, if your spirit whispers, "This is my season," then respond to heaven with faith. Type 555 in the comments, not as superstition, but as a prophetic act, a declaration that you trust God's process of hiding and revealing. That number is your amen to heaven's timing, your acknowledgement that you are not forgotten, only reserved. Chosen one. The hidden season is almost over. What has been growing underground is about to bloom in public view, and when it does, you will realize that the silence was sacred and the shadows were holy. You were not waiting for God to see you. He was waiting for you to be ready. You carry something now that you didn't have before, the mantle of redirection. It rests quietly on your shoulders, invisible to the eyes of many. Yet it changes the atmosphere around you. You've walked through rejection, endured isolation, and survived the silence. And in that journey, God has entrusted you with something sacred, the authority to guide others through the same wilderness you once wept in. A mantle isn't a trophy, it's a responsibility. It's not just a symbol of survival, but of stewardship. The mantle you wear is woven from every moment of surrender, every night of tears, every step of obedience. Heaven tailored it specifically for you. It's the sign that you are no longer just surviving redirection, you are now carrying the anointing to lead others through it. When Elijah's time ended, his mantle fell upon Elisha, not as an ornament, but as empowerment. It carried weight, history, and holy purpose. Likewise, your mantle carries echoes of every season you've walked through. The rejection that once felt like a curse has now become a language of comfort to others. You can recognize the pain in someone's eyes because you've lived it. You can speak hope into emptiness because you've tasted despair and still found God there. Your scars have become signals. Your story is now a map for others, still lost in their detours. The pain that once made you question your worth is now the proof of your calling. You don't need to speak loudly to be heard. Your endurance has already spoken. The mantle of redirection doesn't demand attention, it commands presence. But with every mantle comes weight. You will feel it not as pressure but as purpose. It will draw you to people who are broken, misunderstood, or on the verge of giving up. They'll see something in you, a steadiness, a light, a peace that cannot be faked, and they'll know you've been where they are. You will not have to convince them with words. Your walk will be your witness. Heaven didn't choose you to be famous. Heaven chose you to be faithful. The mantle you carry isn't about platforms. It's about people. It's about standing in the gap for those still wandering, helping them see that rejection doesn't mean ruin, that redirection is still redemption in disguise. You'll find yourself counseling, comforting, and guiding in ways that surprise you. The wisdom you once begged for will now flow naturally because it has been written into your spirit through experience. As the Apostle Paul reminds us in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 4, he comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort God has given us. That verse captures the essence of your new season. You've been comforted, so you can now comfort. You've been healed, so you can now heal. The mantle of redirection is not about speaking from theory, it's about ministering from testimony. Every detour you took, every disappointment you survived, has become sacred training. Heaven never wastes a tear. It transforms each one into oil for anointing. You'll notice that your prayers have changed. They're no longer centered around why me, but around use me. That's the sound of maturity, the moment when destiny outweighs desire. You've stopped begging for answers, because now you carry understanding. You know that even when the road twists, the hand guiding it never wavers. There will be moments when you feel that same ache of rejection again, but it won't break you anymore. Instead, it will remind you of who you are and why you're called. You'll recognize redirection the moment it arrives. And instead of resisting, you'll rest. Instead of complaining, you'll coach. You've learned the rhythm of heaven's rerouting, and that knowledge makes you dangerous to despair. This mantle doesn't exempt you from trials. It equips you for them. It's not a shield from storms, it's a sail that catches heaven's wind. When others are paralyzed by confusion, you'll move with calm certainty, guided by the same Spirit who once led you through your darkest nights. Chosen one, understand this truth. God didn't just rescue you from your wilderness, He anointed you to lead others out of theirs. You are no longer just a survivor of rejection, you are a steward of restoration. You are a living reminder that divine redirection never ends in ruin, only in revelation. Wear your mantle with reverence, walk with quiet authority, and know that every step you take now carries the weight of heaven's purpose and the fragrance of divine redemption. Every chosen one eventually reaches the battle between who they were and who they are becoming. It is not a war fought with weapons or words. It is a silent struggle of spirit and identity. The old version of you, comfortable in familiarity, wrestles with the new version. God is birthing one shaped by obedience, humility, and revelation. You stand between two selves, the one who survived and the one who is now being sanctified. This war between old identity and new purpose is the final refining fire. The old you clings tightly to the things that once kept you safe: habits, mindsets, even relationships that once soothed your fear. But God's call always disrupts comfort. You cannot carry old garments into a new garden. You cannot pour fresh oil into cracked, familiar vessels. The transformation you prayed for demands a letting go. The old you loved to be understood. The new you understands that obedience doesn't require explanation. The old you fought to prove your worth. The new you walks in quiet confidence, knowing that heaven already settled your value. The old you feared rejection. The new you recognizes it as redirection. The war isn't punishment, it's proof that you're changing. Transformation is rarely gentle. It's the breaking of old bones so the body can be reset in divine alignment. It's the tearing of old garments so a robe of righteousness can be woven in their place. God is not trying to harm you. He's extracting the parts of you that can't survive where He's sending you. The pruning hurts because your roots run deep, but every cut makes room for new fruit. You'll notice this battle most in the quiet moments. When no one's watching, the old voice whispers, "Stay safe," while heaven's whisper says, "Step forward." You will feel pulled in opposite directions, but deep down, your spirit knows the truth. Growth requires departure. You cannot step into your new name while still answering to the old one. It's not just about leaving behaviors behind. It's about releasing entire versions of yourself. The one who needed validation, the one who feared being seen, the one who equated love with approval. They served a purpose in survival, but they cannot accompany you into revival. You are no longer living for acceptance, you are living from assignment. There's a sacred tension in transformation. Sometimes you'll grieve the person you once were. You'll miss the predictability of the old patterns, the simplicity of not knowing what you know now. But every awakening requires a mourning. Even resurrection demands a death. You cannot hold on to the cocoon and expect to fly. That's your story too. The limp, you carry the remnants of pain, the lessons of loss. The scars of rejection are not disqualifications. They are reminders that you've wrestled with destiny and refused to let go. Every mark on your life tells a story, not of defeat, but of divine transformation. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 26. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. The most powerful part of transformation is that it rarely announces itself. Others may not even see what's happening, but heaven does. While you wrestle in silence, angels stand, watch, knowing what this battle will birth. The pain that feels unbearable today will one day become wisdom that flows effortlessly from your lips. You are being reintroduced to yourself, the version God always saw. The one He crafted before rejection distorted your reflection. The old identity wasn't wrong, it was simply incomplete. Now, the fullness of who you are is emerging, radiant, unafraid, and free. So, do not resist the war. Let it refine you. Let it strip away the fragments of who you were so that the masterpiece of who you are can emerge. The same fire that burns away the old also forges the new. When the dust settles, you won't just be changed, you'll be whole, chosen one. The battle inside you is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of transformation. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. Heaven's hand is still on you, reshaping you into the image of strength wrapped in grace. And when you rise from this inner conflict, you will carry peace that no storm can steal. You have made it through the storm. Chosen one, the dust has settled, the fire has cooled, and as you look around, you realize something has changed. You are still here, but not as you were. The crown that heaven promised has found its place upon your spirit. You stand not as one merely surviving, but as one reigning in quiet authority. This is your crowning season. The moment where rejection gives way to royalty. Crowning doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the silence after surrender. It happens when you stop fighting to prove your worth and start walking in what's already been decreed over your life. The crown is not placed on perfect heads, it rests on surrendered ones. You've earned nothing, but you've endured everything. That's why heaven calls you worthy. Every tear became a gemstone, every scar a jewel, every act of obedience another piece of divine gold, forged in fire. Your crown doesn't sparkle because of fame, it glows because of faith. Picture a crownsmith at work. He doesn't craft with ease, he crafts with heat. He bends the metal, melts it, molds it. Every blow of the hammer gives form. Every spark refines. That's what God has been doing with you all along. The pressure that once frightened you was shaping your royalty. The very fire that threatened to consume you was the same fire that refined the gold within you. As the Spirit declares through the book of James, chapter 1, Verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life the Lord has promised. That crown of life rests upon you now, not as a symbol of status, but as a testimony of survival. You've stood the test, and heaven has taken notice. Where others saw your breaking, God saw your becoming. Beloved, if these words are stirring something inside your chest, it's because heaven is confirming what your spirit already knows. This is your time of crowning. The world may not understand it, but heaven celebrates it. You've endured rejection. You've embraced redirection. And now, you walk in restoration. Take a quiet moment and think of what it took to reach this place. The sleepless nights, the unanswered questions, the moments you almost walked away. Every one of those was a thread in your royal robe. Every heartbreak became a line in heaven's song of your redemption. You didn't climb here through ease, you rose through endurance. Now that you wear this invisible crown, the way you walk must change. Walk with dignity, speak with grace, love with patience, forgive faster. Remember where you came from, but don't live there. You are no longer the rejected one, you are the redirected one, an ambassador of resilience. And now, let me speak to your heart as one who walks with you through this journey. If these words have met you at the right moment, if they've poured strength into the quiet corners of your soul, I invite you to respond, not out of habit, but out of gratitude. When you like this message, you affirm that your journey mattered, that every hardship had purpose. When you share, you extend your crown's reflection to someone still feeling unworthy. You become a mirror through which another sees their value. When you subscribe, you stay connected to a current of words that keep your fire burning bright through every season ahead. And if your heart feels stirred to donate, do it, not as a transaction, but as a tribute. Giving is not losing, it's sowing. Your seed helps light another path, keeps another message alive, and reaches another chosen one standing on the edge of surrender. You become part of heaven's quiet revolution, hope transmitted through generosity. You are living proof that crowns are forged in fire. You are not the same soul who began this journey. You are stronger, softer, surer. The storm that tried to drown you has now become the very ocean that carries your reflection. Before you go, pause here. Let your heart settle. Let gratitude rise like incense, and if you feel it in your spirit, leave a few words below. A blessing, a thought, a simple echo of your own transformation. Let the world see that grace still works miracles. Chosen one, wear your invisible crown with courage. Walk like heaven's royalty. Serve like heaven's messenger. Love like heaven's heart. The world needs the light that shines through you now. Restoration, it doesn't come as thunder or lightning. It arrives softly, like dawn. One morning you wake up, and what once felt broken now carries beauty. The ache that lingered for years turns into quiet gratitude. The doors that shut so violently have led you here to a place of peace you never knew existed. This is restoration in full measure. Chosen one. When God restores, He doesn't simply return what was lost. He multiplies it, purifies it, glorifies it. He doesn't rebuild the ruins the same way they stood before. He reconstructs them to withstand future storms. Divine restoration is not replacement, it's resurrection. What was dead now breathes again, not in its old form, but in fullness. You are walking proof of that truth. Look at yourself now stronger, wiser, softer. You no longer chase the validation of others because you have found your value in the voice of heaven. The same rejection that once wounded you now serves as your testimony. Every scar sings of survival. Every loss has become a lesson. You carry a peace that no applause can buy and no criticism can steal. God has a way of restoring in dimensions far beyond our requests. You prayed for one open door, and He's opening many. You asked for healing, and He's giving you wholeness. You sought provision, and He's granting overflow. Heaven never restores halfway. Its redemption comes complete, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. But restoration does not erase memory. It redeems it. You'll still remember the valleys you crossed, but now they no longer sting. They shine. They become landmarks of grace, reminders of where God met you, comforted you, and carried you. What used to bring tears of sorrow now brings tears of thanksgiving. We are reminded through the writings of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, "And I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." Those words are not poetry, they are prophecy. God restores years, not just moments, not just things. Time itself bends in His mercy. The seasons you thought were wasted are being redeemed. The energy, effort, and love you poured into places that rejected you will return multiplied in divine timing. Nothing surrendered in faith is ever lost. It is only being stored until restoration arrives. You will begin to notice how everything connects. The doors that closed were steering you toward these open gates. The silence that once hurt you became the space where your spirit grew roots. The wilderness you wandered became the very place you learned to hear God clearly. Restoration reveals that nothing was random. And when restoration begins, peace follows. Not the fragile peace the world offers, but the deep, quiet peace that hums beneath the surface of your soul. It's the calm that comes when striving ends. When you finally trust the hands that have held you all along. You'll see it in your relationships, connections that honor your worth instead of questioning it. You'll see it in your purpose doors that open naturally because they were always meant for you. You'll feel it in your spirit, a rhythm of grace, where every step feels guided, every breath feels blessed. Restoration also brings reflection. You start to see the faces of those who once hurt you, and instead of anger, you feel compassion. That's how you know healing has finished its work. Restoration does not demand repayment. It offers release. The crown you now wear is not forged in vengeance, but in mercy. The fullness of restoration is not loud, it's steady. It does not announce itself with fanfare, but proves itself through fruit. People may not notice immediately, but they will sense it, the quiet glow in your eyes, the peace in your presence, the authority in your voice. You no longer speak as the one who was broken, but as the one who has been rebuilt by grace, chosen one. This is your season of restoration in full measure. You don't have to chase it, you just have to walk in it. Everything that left you is returning in divine form: health, joy, love, purpose, provision, and peace. Heaven is rewriting your story. And this time, every word drips with redemption. So rest, not because the journey is over, but because the hardest part is, you are standing in the evidence of promises kept. God didn't just bring you back, He brought you beyond. The years of tears have turned into rivers of rejoicing. The one who was rejected now reigns restored. There is a quiet sense of completion that fills the air now. Chosen one. Not the kind of ending that feels final or empty, but the kind that hums with fulfillment. You've come full circle. The pain that once seemed endless has found its purpose. The rejection that once defined you has now been rewritten as redirection, redemption, revelation. The thread that wove through your wilderness has led you straight into destiny's embrace. This is divine completion, the moment heaven finishes what it started. You can almost feel it in your bones. That gentle awareness that nothing was wasted. Every heartbreak, every silence, every detour, each one was a brushstroke in a masterpiece that only makes sense from this side of the journey. Completion doesn't mean that everything is perfect. It means that everything has meaning. You may still carry some scars, but they no longer ache. They've become reminders of grace. You may still remember the tears, but now you understand why they fell. God never promised a life without wounds, but He did promise healing, and that promise has become your reality. You stand now as one made whole. The world that once broke you no longer defines you. You move with quiet strength, no longer needing to prove or perform. You've learned that peace is louder than applause, that stillness is stronger than striving. Divine completion brings a rhythm of rest that replaces the rush of survival. There's something radiant about those who have come through divine redirection. They carry a calm confidence, an unspoken wisdom that doesn't need validation. You can recognize them instantly. Their words carry weight because they've walked through fire and found water. You are now one of them. You've become a living testimony that God never wastes a wound. You can feel heaven's approval, not as thunder, but as a whisper, "Well done." You didn't give up in the middle. You didn't curse the waiting. You didn't surrender to bitterness. You stayed faithful, even when you were afraid. That faithfulness has become the foundation on which your next season will stand. Divine completion also means reconciliation with God, with yourself, with your story. There's a soft acceptance that replaces resentment, a deep understanding that everything had to happen just as it did. The people who left had to leave. The doors that closed had to shut. The delays had to stretch your faith, because only through those very moments could you discover who you truly are, a reflection of grace, resilience, and divine purpose. You've learned to see through heaven's lens now. You no longer view rejection as punishment, but as positioning. You recognize that sometimes God allows loss to make room for legacy. You know now that not every ending is tragic. Some are simply transitions dressed in disguise. Divine completion doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. As the ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 8, verse 28 declare, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." That verse has followed you through this journey, quietly fulfilling itself in your life. Even when it didn't feel true, it was still working behind the scenes. Now you see it plainly. Every disappointment was rearranged into destiny. Every loss was laced with love. The weaving was slow, but the result is perfect. Completion doesn't end your calling, it confirms it. The fire that once tested you now fuels you. You are not emerging empty-handed, but equipped with wisdom sharper than fear, compassion deeper than pain, and faith stronger than doubt. You are ready. Not because you have all the answers, but because you finally trust the one who does. This is the beauty of divine endings. They are always beginnings in disguise. Completion is simply the threshold where one assignment closes so another can begin. The same God who brought you through will now send you forth. The same light that guided you in darkness will shine through you to guide others. You are no longer the one asking for direction. You have become the direction. Others will look at your story and find the courage to keep walking. Your words will carry healing because they were born from hardship. Your presence will bring peace because you carry heaven's stillness inside you. Stand tall, chosen one, not in pride, but in purpose. You have walked through rejection, redirection, refinement, and restoration. And now you stand in revelation. The circle is complete. The process that once felt painful has become beautiful. What once broke you has now built you. You are no longer waiting for permission to be who you were always meant to be. You are living it. You have stepped fully into alignment with heaven's rhythm. Every step forward now is not a struggle, it's a dance of trust. The light in you shines differently now. It's not the flicker of someone searching, it's the steady glow of someone found. Divine completion doesn't end your story, it crowns it. You were never rejected. You were redirected, refined, restored, and now revealed. The world may still not understand how you made it here, but heaven smiles because this is exactly where you were always meant to stand. Whole, radiant, ready, chosen one. Take a breath. Let this final moment settle deep in your spirit. You have journeyed from rejection to redirection, from silence to strength, from breaking to becoming. Every word written here was not coincidence, it was confirmation. Heaven has been guiding you, shaping you, whispering truth through every line. You didn't stumble upon this message, you were led here. Now, as this chapter closes, pause and look back, not with regret, but with reverence. You survived what tried to silence you. You became what rejection could not destroy. The ashes have turned to anointing, and the detours have become destiny. You are walking proof that God never abandons His chosen. He refines them for glory. If these words have spoken to you, if somewhere along the way your heart felt seen, your spirit felt lifted, then let gratitude rise. Like this message, not out of habit, but as a declaration that you choose faith over fear, purpose over pain. When you share it, you are not spreading content, you are spreading light. You are extending a hand to another soul, standing where you once stood, whispering, "You are not forgotten. You are being redirected." No. Take a moment and leave a comment below. Write the words that resonate most with your spirit. Maybe a line that healed you. Maybe a truth you've rediscovered. Let your voice become part of this testimony. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, so that this flow of faith and encouragement continues to find you when you need it most. This isn't goodbye, it's continuation. You are part of something eternal now. Walk forward, crowned with peace, clothed in purpose, carrying light that no rejection can ever extinguish. Heaven has finished one chapter, but your story of glory has only just begun.